Hi, I'm Crystal.
And I'm Carrie.
We are here to talk to you today about bringing your houseplants inside for the winter. Temperatures are starting to get to decrease. It's getting colder outside. You want to protect those houseplants and make sure that you can put them out next season. That's the goal. So we're going to talk to you today about doing that. So Carrie, as we bring those plants inside, what's like the number one thing that we need to look for while we're doing that?
Well, you definitely want to check for insects. So insects like to hide in between the creases of the leaves, sometimes in the soil, and then underneath the leaf.
So if we find some insects, what are we going to do to treat those? And maybe if we're just really paranoid about having insects in the house, we don't see any, but we want to make double sure, what can that person do?
So we have two different options. We have neem, which is more of organic, and then we have 7 as well. That's just a contact killer. You just want to spray it on the leaves or even on the soil a little bit, but make sure your plant is well watered and make sure that you sprayed it in the morning or at night so you don't burn your plants. If you're worried that you're going to have any insects, then this is a great product. It's a systemic. It will go into the soil, and so whenever the roots take up that systemic, then it will kill the insects that are feeding on your plant.
And kill anything in the soil too, I would imagine, right?
Yes.
Okay. So after we're satisfied that we've gotten rid of our insects, what are some other things to look for as we bring them inside?
So you definitely want to look on seeing if your plant needs to be repotted. This plant is showing a little bit of roots at the bottom and roots at the top, so it definitely wants to be repotted. You'll just go with a straight potting soil because you just want it to be really well drained so water doesn't sit inside there. You want to make sure your new pot has holes at the bottom with that potting soil, and then you can go a little 2 inches at most whenever you go to repot your plant.
So we're looking to add like an inch on either side. So like if this is a 6-inch pot, like bump up to an 8-inch container?
Yes.
Okay. That'll just give your roots room to spread out, I guess.
Yes.
Just use a regular potting soil. What about food, Carrie? Do these need to be fed before they come in?
Your houseplants, they're not taking up a whole lot of sunlight, and it's not typically their growing season, but they do want a little bit of fertilizer. So with that being said, we do offer Osmocote, and then we do have this Happy Frog. This is an organic product, and this is more of a synthetic, but they both work very well as a slow release fertilizer.
Keep them fed through the winter months, I guess.
Yes.
And then these will have really good instructions on the back for how to use it based on the size of your plant. This one you were telling me earlier about a tablespoon per gallon, is that right?
Yes.
So on that ZZ plant that you were holding up, we're probably looking at like half a tablespoon?
Yes, not very much.
Okay. And then what about, whenever I bring these in, what kind of a location am I looking for? I assume it kind of depends on the type of plant, but what are some things that are just general too for all plants?
Yeah, your west windows, your south facing windows are your best windows for your tropicals or your house plants. But even if you only have like a north window or east window, we offer this grow light, and that will help add some light to it. But also you want to make sure that you're not placing your plant too close to a vent where it will dry out or burn it, or too close to a window. The glass on the window can burn your leaves as well.
So you're talking about plants drying out. So like most of your plants are going to be tropicals that you're bringing in. So tropical environments are usually like high humidity environments.
Yes, they are.
I noticed that you brought this little tray out. It looks like you're kind of trying to create like a greenhouse humidity effect with that. Can you tell me about that?
Yes. So you just take your saucer, what your plants will be in your house already. You just do a small layer of pebbles right in your saucer, and then you fill up the saucer with a little bit of water, just covering the pebbles.
Then you'll set your plant on top?
Yes, you'll set your plant on top, and this will drag humidity up. So it'll really help your plant out. Some symptoms of shock from bringing your plants inside from the outside is yellowing on the leaves, or you'll get yellowing tips of your plant.
Usually just like burning or not enough humidity?
Yes. Sometimes it could be an underwater issue. If it's dying at the top, then it's typically an underwater issue. If it's dying at the bottom, then it's typically an overwatering issue.
How often, I know it's going to depend a lot on the temperatures and the humidity in your house. Some things that people do to create a more humid environment too is like they'll use misters, things that are made to create a more of a humid environment for houseplants. So I know that we can't say like you're only going to water X times, but generally speaking, what are some things that you're looking for as you water your houseplant? And as you're checking the soil. Is there anything that, like, in general, you could say is safe for watering houseplants, and how often you should check them, what you should do, I guess?
You definitely check them once to twice a week. The great thing about houseplants that they aren't super needy plants. They're supposed to be very low maintenance plants. And so you typically just check them to see if they need watering once or twice. You might not even have to water them but once every other week. And with that being said, you just give it a really, really good drink where water is coming out of the bottom, and then you just let it dry out in between watering again.
Okay.
If your houseplants are huge, if you have some really big palms like some people do, plant dollies are wonderful. Then you just set your plant on here, and then you could just wheel it in and out just fine without killing your back.
These are amazing for protecting your carpets, your wood floors, things like that. As you water your plant, we talked about how it's important to have the holes, the drainage holes in the bottom of your pots that your plants are going to be in. So they're going to drain out as you water them. You don't want that water sitting on your carpet or on your hardwood floors, even your tile floors. So these are meant to protect your floors from as you bring your houseplants in. These are pretty heavy duty. We've got them in a multitude of sizes. So whether you have a small plant or a larger plant, we've got these to protect your floors for you. We've got some really good tips here. The main thing is you're definitely not going to want to leave those plants outside as temperatures get really low. You don't want them freezing out on you. So hopefully we provided some good tips here. We also have other tips on our website. So if you want to check the links below, we'll direct you to some of those things so that you can get more good information.